Hey, good evening. How's it, guys? And welcome to Pepper's Echo. I don't know which episode we're looking at, but yes, thank you very much for watching, for tuning in. For those that come in live, great stuff. For those who are watching on rerun, super duper. Thanks for having me in your computer, phone, living room, etc. My name's Andre, and yeah, tonight I am running solo. Niels is unfortunately not able to make this evening with me. So yeah, it will just be my company. So if that puts you off, don't hit the dislike button, but you may tune out until next week. However, this week we do have a little bit of a lineup as well. Nothing hectic, but moving off away from the EFF, we're taking a look at the guys in charge. And if the guys in charge actually know what the hang is cutting, because it is something that I don't think the mother body knows about, but the ANC Youth League in the Free State area has decided to have a youth military training camp. So we'll be looking at that. Once again, as I've stated before, you're looking at a man in the street, not overeducated, not a politician, no great knowledge on anything. I'm just looking at the daily life of South Africa, a country that I have not been in for about the last year and a half. However, my heart has always stayed behind in there, and so would massively want to return. But yeah, I don't see any current possibilities, especially with the current status and the ANC busy driving into the ground the way they are and just letting everything run amok. However, I do believe that I am able to create a few questions around current happenings. As usual, I always refer you over to the big guns for the big facts and answers to these things, like a Ronaldo Gous. I have logged in the chat below, in the comments below. Joe Emilio, Chris Wyatt, Roman Kavanagh on Morning Shot, and Germ for Germ Warfare. Really, these guys know what they're doing. Give them a good check out, a like and a subscribe would be good to them. But yeah, please be good to me and give me a like and a subscribe. I'm most impressed. And yeah, like, subscribe, and share. This is the only way that this video really gets out there, and I would very much appreciate it. I was very, very much under the impression that Facebook, oh, not Facebook, YouTube really only sort of shadow banned or banned the current stations or streams that were like running powerfully strong. And I know Pepper's Echo is still fairly new, so it's not the strongest of channels at the moment. However, they seem to have tackled us on the last video as well, and when we were starting to run up like to over 100 views on our video, it just plummeted. So I don't know if it has anything with the shadow ban or if it is just a bad video on the last one. However, but thank you very much, and if you could share and if you could pop a like in there, I would be most impressed and most grateful as such as well. As I said, man in the street, just from the outside looking in. My views are purely on what I can get and what I look at. My mind is open to change, open to compromise, open to understanding. And that is what I try and do on the station or the stream, is actually take a look at something, try and understand it, maybe pose the questions to it, but you be the judge of what it really pulls out to be. So starting off with, we have, yes, some sad news. Sean Connery, Sir Sean Connery, our very, very first 007 James Bond, passed away at the age of 90 yesterday. Passed away put peacefully in his sleep, but yes, it is still sad to think that our heroes are getting to the end of their sell-by date, age limits. It is most sad to think that people like that are no longer with us. We go back to Eddie Van Halen, who's just passed away as well. David Bowie passed away. I mean, these guys are young Sir Sean Connery, yeah, he's an older chap, but what a legend. So may you rest in peace. And yes, he's going to leave rather large footsteps to be followed in. Apart from other things going on, we've got the massive, what's it, 10.4 billion bailout on the SAA. We'll have a chat about that sometime. But yes, there's other things. Please, email is on the screen, and I will put it in the comments as well. If there's anything that you would like to discuss, that you would like to see, that you could want to hear about on this channel is not only for political view, although the NA discussion, we do usually have a political point that we work on, and we actually banter around with it. But I was thinking of putting on a Pepper's Echo pep talk as well. There's days that really crush a man, and I know there's a lot of self-help and self-support programs, and tell you what it's like for ladies out there. But I wonder how many men actually suffer very, very quietly with a form of depression or anxiety or something to that effect, that they need to actually get through their lives. Sometimes pretty embarrassing to them as such as well. However, yeah, I be one of them too, and I get through my days. Sometimes well, sometimes with great difficulty. I'd like to hear out there if there's a little bit that somebody would like to hear about a bit of pep talk, and we can actually start a stream called a Pepper's Echo pep talk. But yeah, today's stream is going to be a little bit more about a youth military training camp, which is being set up by the Free State ANC Youth League, and SABC News has a heading that says tensions flare. I'll give you a bit of a screen there. Right, tensions flare between Free State ANC Youth League military training invite. Okay, yeah, the African National Congress, ANC Youth League, National Task Team on a collision course over the Free State's Youth League Vasili Derby region's invitation to sign up, members to sign up for military training. While the mother body has called for heads to roll, the task team has vowed to defend them. The invitation, embellished with pictures of the organization's logo and 2 guns, advertises the camp as offering basic military training, hiking, and gun handling, guerrilla tactics, and political education. So yes, members are committed to defending the revolution. It says members are committed to defending the revolution. And yeah, I think with further ado, I'm going to try and pull over a video for you. I can find that video quickly. Yes, sorry. My screen is giving me exceptional trouble again. It seems to do it every time I actually get to streaming. And this video, once again, none of the information that I show or use, I claim any form of copyright or ownership. These are all owned by the people, companies, streams that have put them out there. They are connected in the comments below to be able to follow the full interview. I'm going to put on an interview and actually chat through it on the Youth Military Training Camp, and then there is an interview, and it is owned by Galaxy Universal Network, and it is the Pan-African Morning Interview with MLAMBO, the Secretary General. So let's take a look if we can get hold of this and make sure we share them audio a bit. But first of all, oops, and so there we go. I'll give you the full view there. This is the poster. An ANC Youth League Fazili Derby region presents Youth Military Training Camp. And it states clearly, basic military training. Why would you want to train young kids or young people on basic military training? Hiking. Hiking's nice. We used to do that in Scouts. Gun handling. Maybe. Guerrilla tactics. Why would you want to chase kids in guerrilla tactics? I have no idea. And then to top it with political education. This interview took place on the 15th of October 2020, so it's not long ago. As you can see, all members of the ANC Youth League committed to defending the revolution. What revolution are we talking about at the moment, ladies and gentlemen? How many times do we want to egg on something that is not there or create something that is not there? There is still this revolution and well combatant for Africans. Lies with Regional Secretary Office. So all members of the ANC committed to defending revolution and well combatant for Africans. Okay, I know they say everybody's welcome, but if you're having an ANC Youth League military training camp, how on earth are you wanting to invite everybody to guerrilla tactics? Guerrilla tactics, basic military training, and as you can see, their poster for that has got, I think it's AK-47, shoot me if I'm wrong, but that's no youth camp, guys. No youth camp whatsoever. But let's take a look a little bit further, because this is the interview, and I'll be stopping and chatting through it as we go. And yeah, please feel free to chat along if you're on.
Now, the ANC Youth League, of course, ANC Youth League Fazili Derby regional, they are presenting a youth military training camp. This, of course, will include a basic military training, your hiking, gun handling, guerrilla tactics. With political education. And of course, on the line, we are now joined by ANDILE MLAMBO, who is a regional secretary, to talk to us about this, training that will take place. Of course, they are inviting all citizens to be part of this training.
The motive is...
Okay, so before he starts giving us the motive, I have the query is, A, is this the right time for something like this to be coming out? I mean, we've just gone through Senegal 1, Senegal 2, EFF thugs and terrorists. ANC are toileting the country, and the Youth League suddenly hooks off with a military training camp, which apparently is, you know what, even though they don't want to say it, is not carrying the blessing of the mother body. There's a few, I'll put some links there, to a few radio interviews as well on the 702 and Cape Talk, and they agree. It is crazy. A youth camp, a military youth camp at this time, and guerrilla tactics and gun handling and political, what does it say there? Political education. Now, as an ANC party, should I, as a, let's take it even. Let's just come on even. I'm a little DA, and I come along. So I'm not swinging totally left. I'm not swinging totally right. I'm pretty much center, and I'm coming along. What kind of political information or education are you going to give me? Let's take it one step further. Let's go, I am a freedom front, and I'm saying, oh, my son needs to go on this military camp. What kind of political education are you going to give me, and what kind of training, military training are you going to give? Who are you going to point out as the enemy? But let's hear what ANDILE MLAMBO has to say about the motive for this. And let's see how much, just take a look, ladies and gentlemen, and listen how much he speaks about hiking. What was the other one that was quite nice? It was gun handling, hiking, guerrilla tactics. Well, the only thing that actually seems like a bit of a youth thing is hiking, because the rest is basic military training, hiking, gun handling, guerrilla tactics, really, and political education. And the only thing that seemed normal was hiking. He doesn't cover hiking at all. But let's hear his motive.
Quite simple. Firstly, I think we are well aware of the dynamics that are happening in our country, all the political developments, and also what we have been challenged with is that we find many young people lingering in the streets, and due to the economic challenges that they find themselves in, unemployment, inequality that exists amongst our communities, and we felt that this is part of our constituencies that we are living. We find it fit that we need to demonstrate and show to the country in general that we can also find ways and means to assist young people, but more importantly, women in particular. As we have seen throughout the country, we're also having, which it was also declared as a pandemic of GBV. Then we through this program, we've decided that we'll also characterize women to embark on a military and a skill set of training that will ensure them and empower them to protect and be able to defend themselves against this in atrocities and inhumane challenges that they have been confronted with. In the light of...
So basically, what he's saying is, this is so you can have job opportunities, so that if you're on the street and due to the current situations and to protect yourself at home with these atrocities that you face. So, you know, job opportunities, really, you know what, when you offer someone a job opportunity, especially like you look at military job opportunities, things to that effect, usually you give them a little pamphlet to look at, you play them a video, or you can actually do an advertising video, but you give pamphlets on the different options in the military that there is to be used, and what you can do in the military, what is expected of you, what is life in the military like, what does it contend like. You don't pull a dude in and go, here's a guerrilla tactic for you. You know, here's how you handle a gun. And by the way, let's educate you on the politics so you're fighting on the right side. I don't know. And to get a job, what do you want to? Little mercenaries running around there. Well, there'll be no more armored vehicle attacks these days because we are training mercenaries. No, really? That's a bit of a weak one. And to face the atrocities. So you need military training. Basically, what he's saying then is, this country is so unsafe, this South Africa is so unsafe that you are needing to educate youth in the sense of military training to defend themselves against atrocities. What atrocities are we looking at? Who's creating these atrocities? And why are they there in the first place? And why are our police department and our actual military not being deployed and not doing anything about it?
Of what is happening in the country, we've seen a minority group that has embarked on a treasonous act, and this act and a violent and hooliganism and a thuggish way of
a minority group who's embarked on a treasonous, thuggish, violent way. Surely he's not talking about the EFF. EFF? That sounds like the EFF. What minority group? The EFF has got, yeah, okay. Third biggest party in the country? No, he's obviously not speaking about the EFF. When he speaks about minority groups, he's very, very casually and tactfully sidestepping the word white. Sorry to say, ANDILE, but call it as it is. Call a spade a spade.
Dealing with what we term as a non-existence or a fallacy that we, at some point, we are going to go after the white people, we are going to take over the lands forcefully. So when we are in a democratic country,
Yes.
and we don't kindly to such behavior and act perpetuated by this minority group that as they are superior and wanting to intimidate or bully the majority of the country. But till now we are resolute in our post.
So basically, they're wanting to train up military youth because they feel that they are being bullied and intimidated by a minority within the country. And so the best way, gentlemen, to deal with this is violence, physical violent acts by becoming guerrilla warfare warriors. Am I sounding correct here? Because nowhere are we looking at political negotiation. Nowhere are we looking at any form of how to move forward peacefully. We are saying we are being bullied and we are being dominated by a minority, and we need to now teach our youngsters guerrilla tactics and warfare.
To say we have a program that is aligned and tuned to a particular grouping that is responding.
He keeps on referring to particular grouping. You know what? Is the ANC Youth League EFF in training is what I want to know. Because they're also acting once again out of the authority of the mother ANC body. As I did mention in the one newspaper, I think it did say heads will roll. It said the ANC National Congress and the ANC Youth League National Task Team are on a collision course over the Free State ANC Youth League Fazili Derby region's invitation to members to sign up for a military training. While the mother body has called for heads to roll, the task team has vowed to defend them. The invitation embellished with pictures of organization's logo, 2 guns, advertises the campus offering basic military training, hiking, gun handling, guerrilla tactics, and political education. Yeah, it just makes me think, who is in control of these guys?
To a pandemic which is responding to.
Okay, now we're pulling gender-based violence into having guerrilla tactics, military training, and political education.
Crimes, high rate of crimes in our country.
Yeah.
And with that is where we're channeling our program. But what they are doing, we condemn in the strongest terms, and it is a pure undermine of the rule of law. It is a pure undermine of our government. But however, with this training and the suit, there's this.
Okay, so it's an undermine of the law. It's an undermine of the government. I don't know if I understood that correctly. Once again, as I said, man in the street, just hearing what I'm hearing, but he wants to give his reason.
Set of tools and skills which those participants are going to receive. It will be also to assist them in protecting their communities, in protecting and also advancing patriotism. And patriotism also speaks to anybody that vandalizes or damages property.
Okay, but you should not be having everyday people doing that. I mean, it's actually quite sad that in this current day and time or age in this in South Africa, that we are expecting everyday citizens to be protecting communities, to be protecting against vandalism and things like that. Where are the police force? Where is the defense force. Oh, sorry, we don't have forces anymore. We have services. Where are the police services? Where are the defense services? Because why are we having to pull children and teach them guerrilla tactics, gun handling, and political education? Politically educate someone to now what? Protect your community, to protect against vandalism? Should we not be educating these people more than what we are teaching them to become uneducated guerrilla fighters?
Party. We've also delivered strong messages to the ANC that they still, as a youth league, that they are not serious about dealing with racism. We cannot be having, in the democratic dispensation, blacks being fed to the lions, blacks being thrown into coffins, and we find that the judiciary always favors the whites.
Yeah.
Very, very strange. Once again, he plays the race card. So in MLAMBO, if you are saying that this was for everybody, because it used to be for everybody until you actually suddenly started putting in and saying blacks are being fed to the lions, blacks are being thrown in coffins, which is referring to, I know exactly which that one instance is, ANC is not doing enough to fight off racism. You are causing a race war right there, my friend. You are not solving anybody's problem. What you are doing is you are creating conflict. You are teaching conflict. You are teaching terrorism. That's what you're doing. You are creating it. I do not see any bit of this youth military camp being educational, being uplifting, being disciplined at all, because is this the type of political education that is going to be indoctrinated into this youth? Who are the people who are going to be going on this camp? They can't be very intelligent. So of course it's going to be so easy to use propaganda on them. I cannot believe that he's actually, you know what, at least maybe try and make it sound soft and comfy, but he's just blurting out and of course playing the race card.
Yeah. And we are saying up until today, we are still not equal in the rule of law. It is biased towards the particular group.
Okay, my problem once again is, ANDILE, how is gun handling, military training, guerrilla tactics, political education going to solve a situation that you are claiming to have be unequal, being bullied, being dominated by, racism still around? So what you're basically saying is, we need to violently sort this out. We need to go to war. You are preparing to go to war and you are stating there that this isn't being solved, that the ANC isn't doing it for you. So basically you are going anarchic on the ANC as well, because they don't know what's cutting. Please, really?
ANC fought for the total liberation of our people. Yes, the economic patterns are still imbalanced, and it is a known information, and it is out there that the majority of our economy is in the hands of the white minority.
Yes.
Once again, this whole thing seems to be a racist part from the ANC Youth League, because they blamed a minority group, which, as I said, very diplomatically sidestepped. He meant white. You have stated that you are not equal, that there is still racism, that black people, you have noted, are being thrown to the lions, and you have called the minority group treasonous, you have called the minority group violent, and now you have said that you are unequal, and that most power still lies in the hands, and you have explicitly said white. So what kind of education do you intend giving these children? It is absolutely, absolutely propagated racist education that you're going to be giving these youths or the youngsters, and you are busy training them that problems are solved with violence. So how can you actually state one group is violent when you are promoting violence? It's really, I mean, he's actually believing that people are buying this.
And with that said, who are still hesitant and who are unwilling to give or to want to address this matter, for as long as we are going to have those imbalances, we are going to face major challenges whereby our people at some point are going to embark on an unled revolution, which is something that we don't want. But however, we are to put pressure to our government at present that the sooner they attend to the land redistribution issue, and a fair one and a just one, which is democratic, and equally on changing the balances of total ownership of the economy, whereby we see not a majority of the population does not even own the means of production. So it is as if now we are watchdogs of our economy in our country in the total dispensation. Now we have posed this question to the ANC. If you went to underground and exile and you fought for total liberation, what did you fight for? As we are seeing today, we are living in an adverse poverty. We are subjected to breadcrumbs in our own country. It's as if we are passengers in the economy of our country. We see the only a face which has been subjected to inappropriate things and in unjust activities. It is a face of a black child. So until when are you going to realize that the country at this point and at this rate, if we don't confront these issues that plagues our people, we are going to enter into a political quagmire, and it will be too little too late if we don't also enter that stage to concentrate everything to the black majority, not everything necessarily, but to concentrate a particular share to the black and the marginalized and previously disadvantaged. Because now what we see, it is a growing number of arrogance and to the minority have become so arrogant that they don't even value a black life. They don't even value or subject themselves to the rule of law, subject themselves to the government.
Okay. Wow. That wasn't a racially motivated speech. I don't know what is. Calling white people arrogant, calling white people racially motivated, that they don't give a single damn about a black face, about you are, oh man, you are such a victim of your own devices. It's just not funny. But what you are trying to justify is building up a bunch of mercenaries to do what? You know what? Power isn't given, land isn't given, economy isn't given. There's so much that you just want, and you are going to want to take it by force. You are crazy to even do this. Your explanation is crazy. It's mad. You're not even acting within the blessing of the main ANC body. So, you know what, you're like on your own mission. You are literally EFF in training. That's what you are. I honestly believe that the ANC Youth League now, with that kind of mindset, is definitely looking at just bringing up recruits from the EFF, because that's what the EFF are. Violent, vicious, terrorist thugs. And you have just given basically a racist explanation for your military youth camps that you are wanting to teach gun handling, military training, guerrilla tactics, and political education. And after what you've just spoken, you have been fairly direct in stating that A, you don't want any white people there. B, you're not interested in dealing with anything for a white person because that is what you are against, and these are the racist and violent and dominant, not wanting to give over people. Now tell me, ANDILE, what about the colored people? They are some of the most cooperative, some of the most militant, and some of the most well-disciplined people when it comes to the defense services, force services, and when it comes to defense force and the police services. They are really, really good. What about Indian? What about Indians? What about the smaller minorities that make up our country as well? You're not looking at equally doing anything for anybody. You are selfishly following your own racist demeanors. You are really, your whole explanation, this whole explanation, it is crazy. It is absolutely nuts. You've had somebody going off on a racist rant without the blessing of his mother body. It's a youth league. It's an affiliation to the ANC. It's for their youngsters. It's a youth club, if you want to put it that way. Trying to build up the youth indoctrinated in the ANC way, and you are just pulling that totally apart as well. Let's finish this off and check what it says.
We invited all youth across South Africa. We invited all young people who have interest.
Did you hear that? All youth across South Africa, all young people that have an interest, but you've just bombarded everybody excepting for black youths. I'm sorry to say, and that is so unfair, because that means you're propagating. You're propagating because you've just spoken about a violent minority, arrogant, couldn't care about a black face. How you've got? What is the political education that you are going to give all youths? What is the political education you're going to tell an Indian person? What is the political education you're going to tell a colored person?
We want to empower themselves with that training. We have invited, in fact, all ages, but we are very strict in terms of ages above 35 and all of that. But there's consideration to use those who are having certain skills, set of skills, to also form part not only of the training, but to assist in terms of the medical aspect of things and other things that will be there, other activities that will form part of that program.
Okay, guys, there we got it. I have been through a few things. I am going to attach for you the newspaper articles that I've got at the bottom. One of the things is put your Deputy Regional Secretary Fazile Darby says the region, Thabo Baleni says the military camp is to tackle perpetrators of gender-based violence and human trafficking. Why are you going to or find it necessary to politically educate and to teach human trafficking or people against human trafficking and gender-based violence, guerrilla tactics? You know what? He slapped me. I'm going to stalk him, and I'm going to take him out one way or another. He won't see it coming. I learned guerrilla tactics, gun handling, and military. And by the way, I was also educated politically. He's voting for the wrong party. Really? What a bunch of clowns. What a bunch of clowns. The only problem is these clowns are causing a lot of controversy within our country. And it is a major, major concern. He carries on to say, this is Baleni. He insists that there are a number of programs that we have championed in the youth interest, and there's not been any consultation with an ANC, NEC, in that regard. It is not the practice in the ANC that the region would do the program in consultation with the ANC or the ANC Youth League national. There would have to be a basic on which we are told why this program would not necessarily be good if the ANC Youth League in the national would have a problem with this. Perhaps they should outline what they see as best for the country. So yeah, they're a little upset because the ANC is a little upset because the Free State ANC Youth League is starting to get a little upset and wanting to go out on their own military wing. I am perfectly convinced that the ANC Youth League in the Free State is recruiting for the EFF. Why else? Well, you report for military training and pick up your red overall as you pass by, and then round the corner you will find a red beret. No, this is not affiliated to anything. Gumboots just further on, yeah. Task Team Sizopila Mkize says the body has spoken to the ANC Youth League's region leadership who have agreed to retract the invitation and apologize for the conduct. She says while the task team says it does not condone the behavior, they are amongst those who are simply trying to assist in defending the ANC against racist elements in the Free State-owned town of Senekal. Anyhow, we don't agree with the ANC. The ANC needs to understand that when it is not doing anything, young people are going to do something, because right now the ANC is folding its arms. I'd agree with you there. The ANC is folding its arms and it's not looking at anything clearly within the country at all. It is not looking at farm murders. It is not looking at terrorists, thugs like the EFF who get away with everything. The legal system is absolutely warped. I mean, a 5,000 Rand bail for a murderer of a 21-year-old kid who was tied up and tortured to death, and a 15,000 Rand bail for somebody who was talking to people, well, and they say inciting violence, attempted murder, my goodness me. We are the ones who ran to Senekal last week and made sure that they reopened the case. They never followed up, so the ANC cannot want to fold arms, and when the young people want to do what they want to do, then they say heads must roll. No heads must roll, and if the ANC wants to test us on this one, they must try and do any sort of suspension or expulsion of our members. We are going to protect our members as much as we don't agree with what they have done. We have a way of solving it. Yeah, violently. You obviously have a way of violently solving it. Excuse me. I will attach all of this newspaper articles and that. So the question being is, are they still going to have the camp or are they not going to have the camp? I haven't been able to conclude on that yet, because it does seem that the ANC does not agree with the actions of their youth league in the Free State. However, they seem to feel that they do not need to have the ANC's input or blessing for that, and that they're acting in the interests of their own people, and somehow want to get their piece of Senekal in as well, which I did show when we were talking about the Senekal situation. I did show the few ANC members that were there holding up placards. They were not very nice towards farmers, calling farmers names and vulgarly swearing at farmers on placards. So I'm assuming that was the Youth League from the Free State that was putting the ANC's ANC's name into disrepute. That's better, because the ANC is doing absolutely nothing about it. Yes, they are sitting with folded hands, and I am once again very concerned that this type of thing comes out so blatantly. We talk about, well, ANDILE is talking about arrogance. Arrogance, I think it is rather arrogant to propagate, to market and to get people to go in a camp that they say is for everyone. And a camp, you know what camp is? Usually like youth camp, survival camp, you know, where you learn about things, but learning military training, guerrilla tactics, political education, that's messing with youth. That's not helping with any form of employment opportunities. That's not helping to defend your community. That's not helping with gender-based violence. He wants to overcome racism with this that hasn't been attended to by his party. Yes, they don't attend to racism in all corners, not only on the one side. However, violence is not the answer. My closing words to this would be, I am afraid. I am very afraid, because violence is not the answer. But at the rate things are going, I am concerned that the country may not be able to come right through proper compromise, through proper communication, agreeing. I think there's a lot of instigation, and the wounds kept on getting scratched open. I don't know how long the history and the past needs to be blamed, because you can only blame the past for that long. I think it's long overdue anyway, but yeah, you're still hanging on. Most of the ANC is hanging on to that. You cannot even control the people in your party. Your youth league is out of hand. Yes, if I can find out if they will be having this still, I will let you know. But I just think that it's absolutely crazy. Gun handling, guerrilla tactics, military training, political education. Where do we come on this? Where do we end? Where do we end? Yes, you know, I'm going to say that there's possibly a right-wing side to that as well, that also does something to that effect. Wow. Which then says to me, where is our country heading? But it's even worse when political parties, the party that is empowered, that is the governing party, cannot control their youth league, who wants to now teach children gun handling, military tactics, guerrilla tactics, military training, political education. I think it's crazy. I think they're recruiting for the EFF. I think they are anarchists at the moment, because they are not even abiding by what their main party wants to do. And guys, the rest is up to you to decide. Once again, as I said, run over to the big guns. I don't know if I'm sure somebody has said something about this anymore. It's just something that I picked up and I felt, you know what, we are so blinded by the EFF and what's going on in the top ANC and that at the moment, that we've actually completely missed the bus on this little rogue youth league over here at the bottom. But yes, it's a good friend of mine also said, it's like that. It is what it is. We pray for our country. We hope that it can come together, and at least, you know, I don't know if we would ever live peacefully together, but I pray that it won't become Iran-Iraq situation, war-torn countries that live in war. You know, we'd rather burn the country down and rule over the ashes than actually prosper together. But if we can actually just tolerate each other, I'm not even saying love each other, I'm saying tolerate each other for the good of the economy, for the good of your own life, and for the good of the future of not only yourself, but your children and your children's children. So, you know what, if we're not going to accept each other, at least tolerate each other for the good of the country, for your life, for my life, for everybody's lives, and everybody's lives will improve. Your employment rate will improve. Your economy will improve. You will move to the top. Not while we're trying to rip the bottom out of it. Guys, done and dusted. I'm going in circles at the moment. Thank you very much for tuning in. I really, really appreciate it. And yeah, if you're watching on a rerun, thank you very much as well. We do have a email, prs@gmail.com, or anything that you would like to have discussed. As I said, the NA discussion usually puts a political point to it, but I would like to take a look at discussing a little bit about maybe some coping ways, things that you struggle with in life. I would like to take a look at that, because I think there's a lot of guys and a lot of men, a lot of gents, and yes, ladies as well, but they seem to have a lot of help groups for ladies, but it seems to be a taboo thing for men. And we all do. I mean, I do, and you know what, we live with it, we work with it, and we get there. But it's nice to know that there's someone who actually understands the saying, hey buddy, I'm with you over there as well. So that's from me saying, hey buddy, I'm with you over there as well. Be good, be kind, take care. If you can't be good, at least be kind.